actually have some Crystal Beast action for you here today, and Illusionist makes another splash on interesting decks. Don't beg 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Yeah, that's right. Golden Rule out here, the best Crystal Beast card, being able to place 2 Crystal Beast monsters from your deck face up in your spawn trap card zone. And you can spell summon a Crystal Beast monster from your hand or graveyard with a different name from those cards, plus the Revolution Synchron here. So Revolution Synchron, literally, I mean, you can combine, any of your level 4s here, make the power tool, and the power tool can actually go search for the Golden Rule, and then you can, convert your Revolution Synchron into a level 1 tuner, and you can make Crystal Wing. Is that cool and broken and amazing? It's innovation. I'll say that. I think it's actually kind of cool seeing that Crystal Beast can actually do things out here, which is pretty cool. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyspring. We have 1 copy of the Ember Mammoth with 1 Amethyst Cat. We have 1 Cobalt Eagle with 1 little turtle. We got 2 copies of the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon with 2 copies of Ruby Carbuncle. Got triple copies of Sapphire Pegasus with 1 Topaz Tiger. We have 1 Crystal Master. Actually interesting to see that this is doing good. We also have triple copies of Maxi, 2 copies of Rainbow Dragon, 2 copies of Revolution Synchron with 2 copies of Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, 2 Called by the Grave with 1 copy of Crystal Beacon. We have triple copies of Crystal Bond with triple copies of Golden Rule. We have triple copies of Rainbow Bridge, and then we have triple copies of Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, and 1 copy of Crystal Miracle. Then we have 1 Zelantis, 1 The Arrival at Ignister, that's cute, 1 Abermax with 1 IP, we have 1 Cherubini with 1 Apollosa, we have 1 Dugaris the Timeless, 1 Baguski, 1 Levier, 1 Abyssaler, 1 Power Tool, 1 Crystalwing, 2 copies of Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Overdrive, and 1 Rainbow Overdragon. Then we have 2 Droll, 1 Godarlo, 1 Gamma Seal, 1 Nibiru, 2 Cosmic, 2 Dark Roller with 1 Feather Duster, 2 Regeki, 2 Evenly Matched, and 1 copy of Red Reboot here, wrapping up your Crystal Beast. Next up here, we have the Illusion archetype, combined with some Fallen of Albash shenanigans here. Now, I do really like the Illusion deck. There's a reason why we've been covering a lot of this, because I find this deck to be very interesting in the way that, for the sub, the monsters that they already got for this little fusion card here has turned so much on its head to allow this deck the chance to kind of see play out here, and that honestly is pretty cool. So we have 1 copy of Alpha, the Master of Beast. We have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyspring, 2 copies of Berfelmet with triple copies of the Cornfield Cotator. We have 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Got 2 Fallen of Albaz with 2 copies of Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws. We got triple copies of Maxi, triple copies of the Mere Swordsman, triple copies of Space Rock with 1 copy of the Nightmare Magician. We got triple copies of Spriggan's Kit with 1 Branded Fusion, 2 Called by the Grave, 2 copies of Chimera Fusion with 1 Crossout Designator. We got 2 Pot of Prosperity, 2 Talents, and 2 Infinite Impermanence. Then we got the 1 Titaniaclad, your 1 Rin Broom, your 1 Dragos to play with 2 copies of Mirror Jade, 2 Lebellion, triple copies of Guardian Chimera, because actually this is the best card that you can make, because this Quick Play Fusion is, Quick Play. We also have 2 copies of Chimera, the Phantom Beast King, and 1 copy of Chimera, the Illusion Magical Beast. Then we have 1 copy of Brigand and 1 copy of Albion. Then we have 2 copies of Alpha, the Master of Beast. We have 1 Lava Golem, 2 Droplets with 1 Feather Duster, 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Talents, triple evenly matched, 1 Skill Drain, and of course 2 copies of Summon Limit here, wrapping up your Illusion archetype. Next up here, we have Sword Soul. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this list is because this is a defensive Sword Soul build. I've been kind of keeping up with a little bit of the innovations that Sword Soul has been kind of forced to endure, and I think that it has been kind of interesting to see just how this deck has really evolved with the course of time, and the different lines of play that it's been forced to take, especially in the OCG. So kind of keep that in mind. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyspring. We have triple copies of Incredible Ecclesia with 1 Fenrir. We got triple copies of Maximus Draw Eloticus, 1 copy of Space Rock, triple copies of Mo Yi, we got triple copies of Tai, and we got triple copies of Long Dong. Then, of course, we got 2 Desires with 1 Pot of Prosperity. Kind of interesting draw ratios here. Got triple copies of Emergence with 1 Sacred Summit, 2 copies of Talents. Then we have 2 Bottomless Trap Holes, 2 Crackdowns, triple copies of Macrocosmo, triple copies of Solemn Judgment, triple copies of Solemn Steve Reich, one Warning, and one Blackout. Then we have one copy of the Codebreaker Virus Swordmaster, one Time 3 Redoer with one Heartland Draco and one Zeus. Wow, we've really evolved here. We have one copy of Ching Ying, one Qingxing Longyu with two copies of Chizao. We have one Stardust Dragon with one Ruddy Rose. We have one Draco Berserker with one Clearwing. We have one Boxia, one Baron, and one copy of Dragite. And then we have two copies of Dimension Shifter, two copies of Gamma Seal, one Nibiru, two copies of Cosmic Cyclone with one Lightning Storm, two copies of Necro Valley, two evenly matched, your one non-fusion area, one Red Reboot, and one copy of TC Boo here, wrapping up the power that is Sword Soul anti-meta. Next up is Sky Striker. Now, to be perfectly honest with you here, the amount of love that Sky Striker is getting right now, this deck has had a lot of issues. I mean, you think back with double engage here that you would, do things, but the era of power creep that this deck has had to endure in terms of its utility option tree, it's been real rough out here. So I'm happy to see that Sky Striker is still holding on as a, roguish lower end deck. But it's been rough out here. So we have triple copies of Ash, Blossom, and Joyspring. We have one copy of DD Crow with two copies of Droll and Lockbird. We have two copies of Effect Veiler with two copies of Ghost Ogre. We also have triple copies of Maxi with triple copies of Ray. We have one copy of Rose with one Crossout Designator. We get the one Droplet with your two Desires. We're still playing Desires. I know a lot of people still kind of hate Desires in this deck, but it's free value. We have one Rhoda with one Afterburners. We have one Hornet Drones with one Shark Cannon. Got triple copies of Widow Inky with one Multi-Roll, two Engage. We also have triple copies of Linkage, one Talents, triple Upstart, and two copies of Kagari. And then we have the one Zeke, triple Shizuku with your one Kaina, triple copies of Kagari, triple Hayate with one Azalea. We have one Celine, one Dahark, and one copy of Axis Code Talker here, wrapping up your, honestly, pretty straightforward Striker deck. Next up here, we have DDD. Thank you, Divine King Zero Rage. I will say, for what DDD has had to go through, it's been interesting. Now, this build is playing the Wyson and the Shinra Bara here. These are kind of interesting little things just so that you can move your scales out of the way. And, I mean, let's be honest here. These do kind of open up an interesting door. I haven't seen any DDD players talking about these, which kind of makes me curious here. Maybe this is a good idea here. So we have two copies of Ash, Blossom, and Joyspring. We have one copy of DD Cerberus with triple copies of Griffin. We have one Lamia with one Necro Slime. We have two copies of Orthros with triple copies of Copernicus. We have triple copies of Kepler with one copy of Savant Thomas. We've got triple copies of Little Swirl Slime with your two Abyss Ragnarok. We have one copy of Vice King Requiem with your 1-0 King Rage. We've got triple Maxi with two copies of Called By. Got one Crossout Designator with your one Dark Contract with Patent License. Triple copies of Dark Contract with the Gate. One Dark Contract with Swamp King. Got the 1-1-for-1. Two Desires. Two copies of the Wyson. And one copy of the Bancho. And then we have one Headhunt, one Darkness, and one Imperm. And then, of course, we got two Gilgamesh. One Zeus with your one Kaiser. One Big Kaiser with your one Marks and Kingtail. One Kali Yuga with two copies of the Machinix. Your one Super Doom King Armageddon with your one Siegfried. And then, of course, we got one little fusion, two Big Genghis, and one Super Genghis here, wrapping up your first list. And then we have, honestly, just here, but this is playing Laundry Dragon Maid so that you can actually mill 3 cards. Yeah. Innovation. So we have one copy of Agito with one Snow, one Globe Bulb with your one Jet Synchron, one Fenrir, one Unicorn, one Kelbeck, one Keldo, triple King with two Laundry, got triple Maxi with your one Mudora, one Beast, one Havness, triple copies of Tier Elements Kashtira, one Merlin, one Reno Heart, and one Shayrin. We got one Called By, one Foolish Rail, two Foolish Rail Goods, one Birth, one Polly, one Raceloth, one Paralina, one Heartbeat, two Scream, one Terraforming, your one Talents, your one Tiding, triple Meta Noise, one Meta Noise with two Solic, and one Trivi Karma. Then we have the one on Rogue Goddess, one Sprin with one Redoer, one Dugaris, one Baguski with one Zeus. Got the one Heart Red, the one Chaos Ruler, the one Rikalos, the one Kaleido, one Dragos to play, one Mudbud, one Guardian Chimera, one Grapha, and one Winda. Then we have two Crow, two Droll, two Nibiru, One called by 1 droplets, your 1 feather dust, your 1 herald, your 1 heartbeat, your 1 thrust, your 1 red reboot, your 1 skill drain, and your 1 copy of crime here. Wrapping up your chunk of OCG goodies. So what do you guys think? Please, so comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.